Good morning, my friends, and all my wonderful TV viewers. Yes, this is my TV channel. It's my story. I'm sticking to it. This is channel 64, whatever. So, anyways, today I found it kind of important. I came across this news article, and it struck me as something important that we have to kind of look at. Um, Amid row over same-sex blessing, the Pope laments splitting into groups in the Church. This is a problem where we have. This is not the first time that the Church has split into groups based on ideology, and I am here to request, ask, beg, whatever you want to call it, pronounce. See, the Christ, He's for all. And we have a Pope who is following Christ. And at this point in time, we have a few or some cardinals, bishops, priests that seem to feel that following Christ is not as important as them not being wrong. Why? Because for decades, for ages, well, I say decades, not so much centuries, because there was a time in which nobody really cared about homosexuals or not, because the kings of France, where so many of them were homosexuals, well, not so many, some were homosexuals, and the church never rejected them. And again, at some point, it became a problem. And so they rallied the troops around this ideology. Now, I would like to share with my brothers and sisters the fact that when Jesus died, the curtain of the temple was torn, which this meant that the access to God was no longer just the priest at the temple. As He said, I'm going to send you the Holy Spirit. And it doesn't mean that everybody has that everybody's right either when the opinions are different. But what we do have to understand, and we'll talk about opinions later on, but what I want to quickly go through right now is like, who in the world would ever imagine Jesus saying, no, I can't go into your house because you're a leper. I can't go close to you because you're a leper. Because remember, back in the day, when Jesus was here, lepers were considered to be, they were kind of the parallel of the homosexual community right now, the LGBTQIA. Oh, we're not supposed to go close to them. They're sinners. They bear in their hands and their face the fruits of their sin. And it's like, what? Really? It was a misunderstanding. However, the hierarchy, the equivalent of bishops and cardinals and priests of the time, were so sure that these people should not be allowed in society, so much so that they had to go around with a little bell so that everybody would stay away from them. And the problem was that they didn't understand what leprosy was. In order not to be, not to be close to them, they created, the lepers are the enemy. The lepers are the ones that we have to keep out and kick out. We're sure, we know. God would not lie to us. Doesn't that sound similar to what we're living right now? Where cardinals, bishops, and priests are all saying like, well, love the sinner, not the sin, and somehow or other trying to separate these people from what they are. And it's like, if it's an illness or it's a permanent situation or not, it doesn't really matter. Jesus walked amongst them. He healed some He did not heal. Same thing when they were talking about the blind man at the temple that was born blind. He was asked, like, well, is he like that because of his sins or the sins of his parents and whatnot? And Jesus said neither, making the first allusion to the fact that, hey, there are people that are just born like that. And your mercy, your love towards them is supposed to show the glory of God, not to shy them out, keep them down there at the door of the temple, don't let them in because they're sinners. What kind of, when has anybody read the Gospels? Is anybody familiar with how Jesus was? I would like someone to tell me, based on what part of Jesus' life they feel the right to deny blessings and essentially to keep out the community of LGBTQIA. Where? Show me Jesus. Don't show me the tradition of the things that the church wrote. Don't show me what St. Paul thought, because St. Paul didn't know Christ. He did not meet Christ at all. So show me a Jesus that sits on the mount and says, homosexuals will not be allowed. He never says that. St. Paul says that about, but he says it also about drunkards, alcoholics. Okay, now the church says, well, alcoholic is an illness, so we have to, we give all explanations. He said, unfaithful husbands, those the adulterers. Oh no, they're fine. They give money to the church, so I suppose they'll be okay. Paul said the same thing about a lot of people. But I don't see them getting kicked out of the church as much as I see people from the LGBTQIA community. What happened? Because the hierarchy of the church throughout the political time has chosen certain things. Now we have a pope who's looking to Jesus and he's saying, no, Jesus is like this. And all these old quacks, and I'll call them all quacks with all due respect, to cardinals and bishops and priests who are tying on to the old ways because they're afraid of the new ways. The new ways are the ways of Christ. Everyone is accepted into the kingdom. You as a priest, you as a bishop, as a cardinal, do not have the right to determine what God is going to think. There is a writing that is somewhere in the Gospels where Jesus tells Peter, whatever you tie in earth shall be tied in heaven, and whatever. I'm going to have a little bit of a discussion about that, but that didn't mean whoever you want to kick out of heaven, I will kick him out for you, don't worry. No, he did not give him absolute power. As a matter of fact, this goes contradictory to what Jesus says after he dies. He says, I will send you the Holy Spirit who will guide you into what to do. Now, even that, we have seen that it's not necessarily always the truth, because I don't think the Holy Spirit told the church to run into the Crusades, nor to create the Holy Inquisition. There are a lot of things where we see that the problem is that the hierarchy doesn't seem to know where the Holy Spirit is sometimes. And I think that this is one of those times where the Pope has seen straight into Jesus's life and has seen Jesus did not reject anybody. Why should we? Now, he's not making it part of the marriage. He's not like, oh, we're going to do this as a marriage, as a sacrament. He's just saying, we're going to provide them with the blessings for their union, in a way, like, hey, we love you, good luck, I hope that God walks with you. Now, who God walks with is not up to you, not up to me. The blessing is a hope that God will walk with them. Why would you deny that to anybody? As Christians, we have to tell the priest and the hierarchy that we understand that Jesus would walk with them as he walks with us, and with a lot of people that do a lot of worse things than LGBTQIA could